Hi, welcome to the podcast Beyond the Ballot, a Lone Wolf production. This is where we showcase local politics by providing a platform for elected officials and candidates. Today's episode is sponsored by Chairman Fannin and the Carmel Republican Committee. Want to make a real difference in Carmel and Mahopac? Join the movement, shaping your hometown's future. Follow the Carmel GOP on Facebook to stay informed, get involved, and help strengthen the Republican voice right here at home. I'm proud to introduce the guest for today's show, Michael Lugo, Town Councilman re-elect of Carmel. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Dave. Appreciate it.
So let's start with the getting to know you questions.
Sure.
Tell us about your personal background. How long have you lived in Mahopac, and what do you think makes this area so special?
Wow. So first off, Dee, thank you for having me. It's a great setup. I'm ready to enjoy myself.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Of course. So my name is Mike Lugo. I've lived in Mahopac for 22 years.
Notice how you say it correctly.
Yes. I've gotten a lot of smoke for saying Mahopac sometimes from the old timers. So I say it correctly. I'm also part of the Rotary Club, so they tend to correct me often. It's Mahopac. So 22 years I've lived in Mahopac. I moved from Brooklyn, New York, Bensonhurst. My family obviously wanted a better life, so we moved from the city up to Mahopac. I have family in Yorktown Heights, so we were familiar with the area. I'm 36 years old. I have a beautiful wife named Jackie. I have a son, Cash Tito. He's 6 years old. He's in first grade. And now we're here. And I decided to start a family here. I have businesses here. We could get into that too if you want.
Yes, we will.
That's really it.
Okay. And what do you think makes this area so special?
Oh, it's the people that are in the area. It's the beautiful landscape of the area, right? We have a beautiful lake right in the middle of town. The scenery, the mountains, the trees, the fall, especially this time of the year, is gorgeous. So I think a lot of things make it special. And again, we could go into that too.
Right.
So.
We're like the land of 1,000 lakes, something like that.
We are.
Yeah.
We are. Very diverse group of people also. So I like that.
Who were your mentors or role models in your life that had made a difference?
I'd say my number one mentor in my life is probably my grandfather. God rest his soul. He passed away about 4 years ago on September 11th, believe it or not. Man that moved from Italia. He's from Calabria, which I visited actually over the summer. Beautiful land as well. I don't know if you've ever been there.
Not that part, but I have been.
Italy's
to Italy.
gorgeous.
Yeah.
Came over Ellis Island, just like a lot of Italians did. Made a name for himself also in Brooklyn, in Bensonhurst. He was a contractor, a mason, built beautiful houses over on 13th Avenue in Dyker Heights. I don't know if you're familiar with Dyker Heights as well.
They're very well known for their Christmas light.
We still visit that. We're actually going to go this year. We go every year. I bring my son. So my grandfather's hard worker, go-getter, a lot of action, no talk. He did what he said he would, created a beautiful business, started a large family, 4 siblings, 12 grandchildren, me being one of them. And he always taught me, whatever you want to go get, you get it, and don't let anybody stop you. So clearly, that motto stuck with me.
And being Calabrese, they're known to be hard-headed.
Extremely hard-headed.
So are you hard-headed?
I think I started off hard-headed. I've learned to listen and compromise and not always think that I'm correct. My wife tends to think otherwise, but I think the hard-headedness is a good thing, right?
Definitely.
You stick to your beliefs and your strengths and you run with it. So.
And lastly, is there anything about yourself that people might not know and might find interesting?
So I used to be on a bowling team growing up for 7 years. I actually got MVP twice. A lot of people don't know that. I very much like to play pool. Before
you go on, have you ever had a 300 score, bowled a 300?
No.
Oh.
Mid-twos. I mean, I wasn't that good, but I think that's pretty good.
That is pretty good,
Younger years. I also like to play pool. I was on a pool league for 5 years. I played over at the Mahopac Inn, which was a lot of fun also.
They still have that league?
They do.
Okay.
Yeah. It's Mondays, Wednesdays. Team kind of broke up a little bit. And, I kind of started veering off and doing more things within the community. So I couldn't be in the bar at 9 o'clock at night playing pool.
Hustling.
Yeah, hustling. So, so a lot of people don't know that about me.
All right, so let's get down to business.
Great.
Okay, tell us about your professional experience and how it has specifically prepared you for the role as town councilman.
Amazing. So I actually opened my first barbershop when I was 25 years old. I feel like a lot of people at that age don't know what they're doing or, what career path they're going to take. So at 25, I opened my first barbershop, Exclusive Cuts, in Mahopac. 2 years later, I opened Exclusive Cuts 2.0 in Yorktown Heights. And then a year after that, my wife and I opened up Love Your Locks Beauty Suite, which I'm sure you're familiar with.
Yes, I get a lot of compliments for my hair. Jackie, thank you very much.
Yeah, the hair looks gorgeous. I love it.
Thank you.
I love it. I was actually there the first time Dee got her hair done, picking her brain, talking about this. So,
How did you get into being a hairstylist or a barber?
So back to me moving to Mahopac from Brooklyn 22 years ago, you're used to a certain kind of haircut, a certain kind of style when you're living in the city, right? High and tight, nice skin. I used to get crazy designs on my hair. So I was always intrigued by the barbers doing the work. And moving here, I used to make my mother drive me every 6 weeks from here to Brooklyn for about a year and a half. And finally, she cut me off. She said, Michael, I'm not sitting in an hour and a half traffic there, an hour and a half traffic back. We're waiting 3 hours for your haircut down there. So I said, all right. I was at that time 13, 14 years old. I said, okay, then I'm going to buy clippers and do it myself. So that's where it all started. I started doing it myself.
Very ambitious.
Yeah, I started cutting my friend's hair in the basement. I had a dangling light hanging. I used to use the top of the washer as my station, old tools from Walmart. And I started cutting then. So that was 22 years ago. So my friends definitely helped me out, supported me along the way. They used to get dropped off to free haircuts. It was good practice for me, good advertisement. And again, 22 years later, now I have 3 successful businesses in the hair industry, and they're all local.
So you know about finances.
Of course. I definitely have to, run my own tight budget, save for a rainy day. The difference between government and owning a small business is, when I want to spend the money and where I want to spend the money, I could just get it done right away, right? We need a new station, great, I'll go out and buy it. I need new clippers, great, let's do that. I want to advertise, fine. Anything that I want to do within my small business, it's a 1, 2, 3 thing.
Right. Government works slowly.
Government works slowly, but then it's also the parts and the moving parts that are within the government, right? People have to communicate, get to know one another, and work together, not against one another, to get those things done. So I think that's definitely part of the problem,
right?
That I face every day.
Right, the challenges.
Yeah, that's definitely one of my challenges.
So what has caused you to initially run for town councilman, and what continues to be your motivation?
So believe it or not, again, when I first moved here, one of my good friends, Bob Pazzi, was town supervisor for 1 term. I don't know if you know that.
No.
Yeah,
I'm new here, so I'm
okay.
just catching up.
Welcome. 2006, 2007, I believe. So I think I was like 16, 17 around that time. He was running for town supervisor. Was I paying attention to local politics at 16 or 17? No. Were my friends paying attention? No. We didn't know about local politics, who was what and who was on the town board. So he was running for town supervisor, and he used to gather, 5, 6, 7 of us to go stuff his envelopes. And when he would go door knocking, he had this big motorhome that he used to travel, around the country with his family. So he put us all in the motorhome, and he would ride through Carmel with a megaphone saying, "Vote for Bob Pazzi, vote for Bob Pazzi." Believe it or not, they shut him down because he didn't have a permit to do that, within the town. But I thought it was so cool watching somebody, chase something that they wanted so bad, and going to, that extent, getting a bunch of 16-year-olds to help him win a campaign, right? So to help him win an election. And it worked. He won. He got it for 2 years. Ever since then, I was kind of intrigued about the local stuff, right? Like what goes on here, right? Who's involved? And he was a staple name. He only served 1 term. And then Kenny Schmidt, I believe, took over for 14 long years. But yeah, I think that's what really sparked my interest. And now we're here.
Wow.
Now we're here.
So you've been in the position of town councilman for 1 year due to a special election, correct?
Yes.
Okay. How did that transpire, and how long would the next term be if reelected?
So my initial goal was to run this election cycle right now. So about 3-4 years ago, I started talking about running for office within my barbershop, with my family, with my friends. And then the opportunity came up that a gentleman had stepped down, Stephen Baranowski. He was town councilman. He didn't want to finish his term for whatever reason. So there was only a year left. I had a decision to make. Do I run for the 1 year and fill his term and then run again this election cycle? A lot of people said, no, you don't want to do that. You don't want to put all your eggs in one basket. It's a lot of work to win an election, right?
Right, but also it sets the stage. It establishes you, right?
Correct.
Okay.
So I think I made the right decision. I said, you know what? Let me go for it. Let me put my name in the hat. If I get it, I get it. If I don't, I don't. I wound up being the only candidate, and I can't stress that enough, the only candidate to run for that special election and fill that 1-year term. Now, there's guys that are running now who used to be town councilmen. There are guys that are fairly new, that knew the position was up, that didn't want to run. So I was the only one to choose to go ahead and make sure that I put my name in the hat, at least to get to know the role, right, and get my name involved and learn more. Because believe it or not, you could serve a 4-year term. It takes a while to get to know how things work. You don't just get up there and all of a sudden, you're voting yes or no and knowing what you're talking about. No,
it's a part-time position.
Yeah, it's a part-time position. You're meeting once a week, the first 3 weeks of every month. Your emails, I'm not an email guy, but now, I'm getting 5, 10, 15 different emails from all of the departments within town hall. It's a lot to get to learn. It's a lot to get to know. So I'm happy I threw my name in the hat, and I wound up winning. I was unopposed, but what does that say, right? If these guys really wanted it, right, and they really wanted to serve the community, why do you need the 4-year term? I said, no, I'm going to do what I can within the year, learn as much as I can, and still run again. So my name appeared on the ballot. This will be the 4th time in 2 years. I ran unopposed last year, knocked on several doors, got my name out there. I attended every single board meeting from a year prior to that. So I think that I made the right choice.
Right. Plus, it's also for your benefit as well. If you didn't really care for that role, maybe you'd want to not pursue it for a full term.
Correct. It was a good stepping stone, and it was like, all right, see if you I knew I wanted it, right? But you don't know what it takes until you're actually back there. People complain. People, say things should go a certain way. At the end of the day, if you're not back there making the decisions and you're not standing up on that dais, serving the people and looking at them and making sure you're doing the right thing, you don't know how it is until you're there.
Right.
So I think it was...
Because I think there's also a glamorous aspect of it, right? So you go to all the different community events, you're a figure, people get to know you, kind of somewhat of a celebrity, right, in the community. So people see that, but there's a lot of work to be done in the back, right, in the back room of it.
Yeah, it's easy to slap a town councilman like Lugo on a sweater, right? It's actually doing the work, though, and working the room and compromising, working together, I think that I've gotten to know a lot of people over the time of me living here, not knowing anybody, moving at 12 years old. That was pretty hard coming from the city.
Yeah, that's a tough, formidable year to do that.
But I think that was my driving force, right? Oh, wow, I know nobody. I want to get to know everybody. I want to be somebody. And from then on, again, it led me to this moment. So I'm happy I ran for the 1-year term, and I'm ready to go for the next 4 years.
So what's your favorite part of being town councilman?
My favorite part, just serving the people, helping. I enjoy helping. I enjoy bringing people together. There's so much division in this world, in this community, among party political lines, and I'm not about that. If you're a good person, I like you, we get along. Let's rock out. Let's do what's right for the majority, not just a small group of people. So yeah, that's the best part, just helping people.
So throughout your one term that you had the first year, what accomplishments are you most proud of?
So in 1 year, there's so again, I ran. I was on the ballot for the primary last year, 2024, right? Yes. That was in June. And then I won the general election, and then I got sworn in December. So I haven't even been there a year. Right.
And like I said, like we've said, the government works very slowly. So I'm not, I just wanted to say.
No. And I just want to make sure people know that,
Yes.
In a year's time, there's not much you can do, but learn, right? Get adjusted to the climate and see where it could go, right? And I knew that running for that 1-year term and serving that 1-year term, being able to hopefully get this 4 years, I could definitely do what I want to do, right? I think the biggest thing was A, learning, and B, when I first got there, we have the town board meetings once a week. We go behind executive session. That's not to talk about here, but there's a lot of things that get thrown your way, and we weren't listing priorities, right? Like what we should get done first, second, third, fourth, and I think that's business 101, right? I have a small business. I go day by day, like, all right, what do I want to do today from this morning till the end of the day, and check off the list and get it done. There was no priority list. So I helped implement a priority list in the supervisor's office. And I said, you guys are throwing so much stuff at me. I'm brand new. What are we really trying to accomplish next week, let alone next year, 2 years, 3 years from now? So we made a priority list.
Right, a list of goals,
A
short
whiteboard.
term, long term.
Short term, long term. It was really within the year what we wanted to get done. I'm like, I'm here a year. So what do you guys want to see within this year that I could help out, right? So we made about 12 or 14 different items on that priority list, whiteboard in the supervisor's office. And I think we checked off 3 of them, which,
That's pretty good.
It's pretty good. Yeah, I'm happy about it.
What 3 have you checked off?
So simple. Now I got to think about the priority list.
Put you on the spot.
No, you're not putting me on the spot. One was the contract with the schools. I had just come on and they didn't finish officializing the contract with the town and the school. So we give the school an X amount of dollars per year to maintain the fields and pay the janitors while MSA or any organization utilizes the fields, right?
Mm-hmm.
The town kind of has to contribute to that, obviously. They never listed out line by line what that money was going towards. Shout out to Councilman Kearns. He really definitely put the pedal to the metal and sat down with them along with Lombardi. I had just come on and they actually got down to the nitty gritty and figured out where that money was going. And that 90,000 kind of looked more like 48,000. So where was that excess, right? That extra money going? Now, we came to terms of where it should go and maybe carry over into the next year where we don't have to pay 90,000. So that was checked off. We had town code stating that you weren't able to go on the lakes when they were frozen. And I don't know if you remember, that was kind of a controversial issue on Facebook. The kids with the quads, right? It's tradition around here. The lake freezes over. You go out in the lake. You drive your quads. You have fun with your friends at your own risk, right? Town code stated that you couldn't do that, but kids still did it for the past 30, 40, 50 years. So I kind of took that by the nose and said, all right, what can we do about it? Should we change the town code? Should we stick to, our guns and not allow it? And finally, we allowed it. We had a public hearing. I think people were still doing it at their own risk, but now it's officially in town code stating you could go on the lake when the lake freezes, but that's at your own risk.
Right.
Enjoy tradition, and of course, our local law enforcement will help you if needed, but it's still at your own risk. So that was another thing that I thought was pretty cool. It was quick. It was very controversial. And I just grabbed it by the nose and I said, no, let's talk about it. Let's compromise. Let's see what the people want. That was another thing. And the third one, I'm trying to think, I'll get back to the third one.
Yeah, if it comes to you.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So what are some of the challenges that you face as town councilman that you can recall?
I would say just compromising, right? Again, serving a 1-year term and getting used to the role behind closed doors, right? Not only out in the public and looking, smiling and getting to know people. That's the easy part. That's very easy, right? Going within the community, answering people's questions. It's behind closed doors and being able to compromise when the bigger decisions come in, right? Getting to know people, their personality, and where they're trying to go with this. What's their motive? What do they feel, and what are they so passionate about seeing happen within the community? So I think just compromising. I would say that's probably my biggest challenge still till now. So.
I just want to take a brief moment to thank the sponsor of today's show, Chairman Fannin and the Carmel Republican Committee. Want to make a real difference in Carmel and Mahopac? Join the movement shaping your hometown's future. Follow the Carmel GOP on Facebook to stay informed, get involved, and help strengthen the Republican voice right here at home. So transparency, a very popular campaign plank that is very frequently used in the political sphere. Do you think you've always operated with full transparency?
Yes. Full transparency, 100%. I think that if anybody has a question or wants to know anything in regards to the town, I am like an open book. I'll let you know what I know. If I don't know, I definitely find out. Again, being so new, there's a lot of things that I need to learn. Anything that anybody wants to know about me, about the town, about how I can help, I think I'm pretty transparent.
You've launched a community organization called DADS. DADS Always Doing Something. Could you tell us more about this?
Yeah, shout out to the dads. DADS. That's dads always doing something. I'm not saying moms aren't always doing anything, but I feel like dads are always doing something. And a lot of dads want to get more involved. Growing up, my father, this is, it gets a little personal, but
yeah, you had spoken about this to me.
Yeah. So growing up, my father was in and out of jail for about 6 to 8 years. I was probably 4 or 5 years old, not like about 3 or 4 years old, not knowing where he was. My mom worked 3 jobs. We lived in the basement of my Nona's house in Brooklyn. I didn't even have a wall in my bedroom. You'd go down at the end of the hall and that's where my bed was. So, I'm not saying things were rough, but things were, there was a lot to get through. So he was in and out of jail for whatever reason. I used to visit him in jail with my mother and my sister. And we would have to take a bus from Brooklyn 8 hours north just to visit him for 1 hour and then take a bus ride 8 hours back to Brooklyn. So I used to think that I was visiting my dad at work, growing up. I didn't know where he was, why he was there. Fast forward 12 years old, my father then passed away, and that's when we moved to Mahopac. So it wasn't an easy transition. I felt like, I went through a lot, not realizing what I was going through, and it all caught up to me in my teenage years, realizing, this is why you're like this, or this is why you think like that. So having that father figure, and shout out to my stepfather, he's a great stepfather, but that's not my father, right? And that role playing, that being a father and playing that role in a child's life means a lot, right? And I'm sure everybody knows here that, having a dad it means more. Same thing as having a mom, but, they both play different roles. So fast forward 36 years old, having my own son, I know how important it is to be present in his life. I know how important it is to look after him, teach him how to be a real man, especially in today's society. Things have changed. We're part of that generation where I understand the old school way of doing things, but I also have to adapt and, understand the new way of doing things. So my son's only going to know the new way. I want to teach him some old school values. I want to show him how to get involved within his community. So dads came up, moving here, not knowing many people, seeing how many younger families are moving up now, like yourself, right? I'm sure you've met lots of people that have just moved up here. They don't know anybody. And it's hard to get to know people, right? Everybody already has their clique. Everybody already has their friends. They already know where the grocery store is. They know where to get pizza. Why not lend a helping hand and help those people in need, right? And not turn a cold shoulder the way some people do. So I started Dads, a group of dads that are willing to help within the community. They want to get their hands dirty. They want to serve towards the bigger picture of making their community the best it could be. That's why they moved here, right? So we have 26 members now. I started with 7 of my good friends saying, hey, the Chamber Park in town needs some help with some decorations. I don't know if you visit the Holiday in the Park. They do it every year, the Chamber of Commerce. I said, I think we could decorate this place and make it look beautiful. Should we take that challenge on? And that was it. We said, sure. So we did it the year after. This year we're doing it, and it's going to be bigger than ever. But again, it's just a group of guys that want to serve their community and do better for the people that live here.
And it's apolitical.
There is absolutely no political affiliation. I have Republicans, I have independents, I have Democrats, one being my opponent, which I'm sure we can talk about.
Follow-up question.
Super excited for that. Yeah. Again, I have Mike Lugo, the barber. I have Mike Lugo, the town councilman. And then I have Mike Lugo, the president of the Dads. I'm also the vice president of the Rotary Club. I'm part of the Chamber of Commerce. I have my own family, my own personal life. So I like to play a lot of different roles, but I don't want to just be known as Mike Lugo, the Republican who's running for town councilman. There's a bigger picture here, right? Again, there's so much division and hatred in this world, in this community. It's like, why can't we just all get along and do what's right for everybody? Not just this group, not just that group, not just me. It's for us.
Right. So as you alluded about your opponent being part of the Dads group, it has been, seen on social media posts that he is one of the members. To some, this may seem a little opportunistic for this individual and also somewhat confusing about the connection between you and him. So what do you say?
So I don't think there's there shouldn't be any confusion in regards to a person who, I think Brett moved here 3 years ago.
I'm not sure.
4 years ago. He's new to the area. Does he know many people? No. Is he a dad? Yes. Is he always doing something? Hopefully he can help us out, right? So again, no political affiliation at all. I think Brett's a really nice guy. Do I think that he's right for this job? No, I think you need to get to know your landscape and the people that live here before you actually run for something like this. So it's a premature
endeavor.
Oh yeah, I mean, I started Dad's group February.
I mean, to run as town councilman.
Oh yeah, for sure. Part. Oh, for sure. And it's not like a wait your turn kind of thing, because this new generation of young leaders, we don't wait our turn. When we think it's right, we're just going to go for it and do it. I definitely think it's too premature for him. And listen, if he wants to get to know people, that's why I created the group, right? DADS, Dad's always doing something. The guy just moved here. I don't care what you are, Democrat, Republican, Independent. I said it before. If you're a good person, you have good intentions, and you want to do right for the people that your community and your neighbors, okay, I'll help you out as much as I can. That doesn't mean, let's go, Brett. Hopefully you beat me, in the general election. Or, it's not like, wow, he's a Democrat. He's part of Dad's. Is he a dad? Yeah, great. So come and help. Come and join. It's a community thing. There's no political affiliation with Dads whatsoever. Nor, real quick, nor have I ever really spoken about me running for town councilman within my Dad's group. There's some people, believe it or not, that don't know what Dads are about. And then when they come, like, oh, well, I've seen your name up and down Route 6. I was like, yeah, but we're not here to talk about that. In the beginning, when I even on the application, or when I sent out this massive text to all the dads on we have a WhatsApp going, I made sure people knew there's no political affiliation within the group. Once you start bringing up Democrat, Republican, what you believe in, you're gone. That's not what Dads is for.
Is that a rule?
That is a rule.
Really?
As soon as, when people get on text, and I hope we get to another question when it comes to text and people talking about certain things. Mm-hmm. Once people start getting into the political realm of, oh, well, did you see what Trump did? Oh, why is Biden? You're gone. This is not about politics. I want people who are willing to get their hands dirty. You're a dad. You're always doing something. Come and help the community. Don't talk to me about what you believe in, who you're running for, who you're voting for. This group has nothing to do with politics. And yeah, it's shocking to some people. I get it. But that's why I started the group.
So speaking about giving back to the community and being fully engaged, what are your thoughts and possible plans for the Parks and Recreation Department?
Parks and Rec. First of all, shout out to Nina Kalmeyer. I think she's doing an excellent job in regards to running the Parks.
There was that Brooklyn, I heard a job.
Yeah. She's doing an excellent job at running the Parks and Rec Department. Parks and Rec needed some serious help over the years, understaffed. There's 9 parks within the town of Carmel and Mahopac. I don't know if you know that.
I did not know that.
There's 9 parks. Wow. We have 3 maintenance guys to maintain and fix and visit 9 parks. We have amazing women in the office running the rec side of it, but we needed serious help when it comes to maintaining the fields, right? And where our kids play sports, MSA utilizes the fields a lot. So what we did this year was we hired a maintenance supervisor. We made sure we found some money and it's in the budget to run the maintenance side of things, where Nina and some of the people within the office can run the rec side of things. Again, Nina's amazing at running a rec department, creating events, bringing revenue into the town, making sure that the community is engaged. But, fixing a small deck or trying to maintain a field, that's totally different, right? Yeah. So we made sure that we're trying to, moving forward, create a team that works together and handles certain tasks that they're supposed to just handle and not kind of overlap and do things that, they're not really familiar with or not comfortable doing. Everybody in the community, I'm sure, has been to at least one of our parks, right? Some of them need some TLC. Some of them are in good condition. Sometimes, unfortunately, we have to hire outside vendors and pay them, right, under contract to maintain those fields. But hopefully, I think within the next 2 or 3 years, we could hire a couple more maintenance guys and, keep it in-house, right? I'd much rather pay a guy that works for the town than an outside contractor, right? To maintain a field that, technically we own, we're supposed to run. So
now I do have a question for you.
Sure.
The idea of having a community pool has been brought up once or twice. What are your thoughts on that?
Community pool, I've heard that. I mean, at one point I've wanted that community pool. It's number one, where, right? Some people are going to say Airport Park. Some people are going to say, up at Camarda Park in the Hamlet. It's kind of has to be centrally located if we do that for Carmel and Mahopac. I think that's more of a county project, if you ask me. I think they're probably better equipped to fund something like that. You don't just, bond for a pool and put the pool up. Now the maintenance part of actually maintaining that pool year to year round, right? I think that's where the
do you think it would be too much of a burden for the taxpayers?
For sure. Okay. For sure. It sounds good. It all sounds fine and dandy. Do you have a pool in the backyard?
No.
Okay. So, I mean, it's just like anything else. You get a pool, first year, everything's going great. Second year, oh wow, it needs a little TLC. Third year, fourth year, whoa, something collapsed or something's leaking. I'm sure the same thing could happen on a larger level, right? A larger scale,
Commercial size,
of
right.
course, and who's going to pay for that?
Right,
we are, right? So yeah, it sounds good, but I almost rather maybe give some public access to the beautiful lakes that we have around here, right? We have a lake right in the center of town that only if you own a piece of property, if you have a boat, if you have a jet ski, or if you have a lot that's on, the perimeter of the lake, that's when you could utilize it. There's no real place where, hey, you live, where you live, you could just go jump into the lake.
Right.
There's no public beach. They're all private, right? You have to pay. So I would like to see something like that, possibly.
So a few weeks ago, a major controversy hit the internet involving the Young Republicans, in which a private group chat was leaked. The group chat contained racist, anti-Semitic, and violent messages among leaders from various chapters within New York. Unfortunately, some candidates from the opposing party attempted to associate this unacceptable behavior to our local candidates here in Putnam. What are your thoughts on this?
So the key to what you just said was they attempted to associate the Putnam County Young Republicans with what occurred. Let's just get down to the nitty-gritty. Number one, there's absolutely no room for anti-Semitic, racist, or racism within at least the community here. I think we're a very well-diverse community. People come from all walks of life, all different races. They come from all different parts of the world, country, the state. What had occurred amongst that group text, there wasn't, and I correct me if I'm wrong if you do know, I don't think there was one of the leaders or affiliates within the Putnam County Young Republicans in that group text.
I don't think so
That's
either,
number one.
yeah.
Number two, I think it's absolutely disgusting that another party would try and paint the picture that some of our local young Republican candidates were part of that group text, right? A picture is, speaks 1,000 words sometimes. You put, I wasn't in the picture, but if you put me and a couple of the other young Republicans in front of that thread stating these disgusting things about, Black people or Jewish people, and you would think that we were part of the conversation, right? No, we weren't. I don't know if you know that, D, but none of the young Republicans in Putnam County had anything to do with that thread. I believe his name was Bobby Walker
Mm-hmm.
and Peter Gunta.
Mm-hmm.
I've never met them personally before. I know that they had been at some of our events here locally. I believe at the Teddy Roosevelt dinner.
Yeah.
They came. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to make it. I'm happy I wasn't able to make it, actually, now that I think about it, because they
can't link you in any way.
You put a picture up of Mike Lugo with Peter Gunta, somebody that I thought would be leading the pack, right? And making sure that young Republicans are heard, we're seen, and we're doing the right thing. Clearly, that man isn't doing the right thing. Sending texts and disgusting things out about a certain race that, it also goes to show, back to what I was saying before, the division, right? And the hatred amongst people in this world. Forget about politics. Now we're talking about, race. People still think that way. Whether the guy wants to come out and say, I was just joking, or, I think I'm amongst my friends.
That shouldn't even be in your mind.
This is what I'm saying. Who has the time to think about putting something out like that? Especially to a group, right? I think there was more than 50 people.
And you should know when you're in that position, like you should just know that
he doesn't belong in that position.
Right.
He doesn't belong in that position, if you ask me. So it put a stain on the name Young Republicans. I don't know where we go from here. I don't think, me personally, great, I'm young, I'm a Republican, but I'm definitely not that young Republican, I'll tell you that. So I don't know where we go moving forward. I'm happy to still represent the party, obviously, right? I'm a Republican candidate. I'm the endorsed Republican candidate. But the young Republicans, it's going to be something that we have to come back from,
Right. But in regard to the Democrats trying to link the local,
I think I made it loud and clear.
It's a very, very desperate attempt.
Of course, and they made a Facebook post. They listed all of the Republican candidates on that post. I don't know if you saw, saying that, hopefully they condemn this, that, third. They didn't put my name on it. I think for some reason they know that I'm not about that. I'm not saying the other people are, but I think they know not to go there with me because, I've had conversations with Democrats, right? Like we said, my opponent is in the dad's group, off topic, not within the group, but off topic. We've had conversations about race, stereotypes. We've had conversation about the community, obviously, and we tend to agree to disagree, which that's what it should be about, right? So I think they know that that's not what I'm about. I'll never go there with anybody. I'm pretty open-minded to the people that live here, wherever you're from. I'll sit down and have a conversation with you. I don't look at people as black and white, gray, yellow. We're all human beings, right? We're here to do the right thing. We're here to get along, hopefully. Some people can't get along, but
and just to better the community.
Of course, better the world. It's not even just
why stop there, right?
It's not even about this community. I mean, obviously, that's my main focus, and that's why I'm running for local government, right? But it starts here. It's your own backyard. You want to make sure that your neighbors are in a good position to help each other and better each other. So yeah, to try and paint and divide more, I thought it was despicable. And again, there's no room for that. I also went publicly. A lot of people put up Facebook posts about condemning what was said in that thread. I actually just made a public announcement at the town board meeting 2 days later. Instead of going on Facebook and typing away the way most people do, I just made it publicly known that there's no room for that here in the town of Carmel. I made sure that people knew. I'm pretty sure the people that sit up there on the town board, they don't feel that way. They wouldn't speak that way. And I kind of represented the Putnam County Young Republicans also, saying that that's not how we talk. We have a group text. I could show you the group text. I don't think anybody's ever going to go to that extent to degrade a certain race. So I'm not for it, and hopefully we could move past it.
If you're reelected, what goals or ambitions do you have for the future of Carmel?
4 years, 4 more years with Mike Lugo. Hopefully that happens. Like I said, within the year, there was a lot to learn. I'm just getting my feet wet. I feel like we're part of this transition period where there's a lot of younger men and women getting more involved. And then you also have some of the older men and women kind of phasing out. I think that needs to happen, right? That shift it's here. I think it's here. We have young people like Jake running for county legislator. He's only 24. You have myself, I'm 36. I'm not that young, but I consider myself still young. Still young,
I'm older than you, so I have to say you're still young.
No, I wouldn't believe that.
Jackie colored my gray
She
hair.
made you look good?
Yeah,
you look good. 26, 27.
Thank you.
All right, good. So I think that transition is actually here, and it's here to stay, which I'm happy to be part of. So there's a lot of things that I would like to see. Number one, and a lot of people ask me, Mike, what are you running on, right? Like, what are your goals? Like you just asked me. I didn't want to start doing that a year ago because I knew that in a year, I probably couldn't accomplish 1/10 of the things that I would put out, right? So like, yeah, but what are you planning on doing? I was like, let me get past this year. And for the 4 years, now we could start talking about it. One thing is term limits, right? I haven't been too vocal about it, but I do speak amongst my constituents and the people that, are in office or running for office. I would love to see term limits be implemented within local government, right? We have town supervisors, Kenny Schmidt, one of my very good friends. He is, any question that I have, he tells me the truth. He's always willing to help me. He was there for 14 years. I can't fathom how somebody could stay there for that long, to be honest with you. It's like, again, nobody was willing to actually run against him sometimes too. He went unopposed, I think maybe 5 out of the 7 terms. You gotta limit the term though. If you can't get what you want to get done accomplished within 10 years, I'd say that's 2 terms is 8 years. Let's say even 3 the most. You got to go. And a lot of the guys that have been there for a while, some of these vets have said, oh, well, no, if people didn't want me, then they shouldn't have voted for me. It's like, no, you never had a young Republican go against you, right? And now we're here. So I know that they see that, they feel that coming. And I think that one of the main things I would like to focus on first and foremost, January, get sworn in, make a motion to see term limits be implemented. 3 terms the most for a councilman, 3 terms the most for a town supervisor. And also supervisor only serves 2 years. Now think about that.
Right, and they're changing it up, right, as well. It's going to fall on
this year coming up. Supposedly, it's falling on the even years, right?
Mm-hmm.
So supposedly, whoever's running for supervisor now might have to run again next year,
right?
For a 2 year.
Which people can say that takes away from the local issues,
Of course,
right? People are going to be focused more on the national,
of course,
events.
Of course, we're not. You're not.
No, I'm just saying most of the general public comes out when it's a presidential or gubernatorial, race.
Correct.
Right.
So to see that supervisor term change from a 2-year term to a 4-year term, I would love to see that as well. How does somebody run for town supervisor?
Right, you're going to use most of your time campaigning for yourself, right? Like,
if you're a new supervisor, right, and again, being new in this space, how do you get to do the things or accomplish some of the goals that you have within a year, and then that next year you're campaigning and running for election for another 2 years, right?
It's not that effective. You can't be that effective.
It's not effective at all.
Yeah.
People are so focused on getting reelected, right?
Mm-hmm.
That how are you supposed to get, do your job in a year and then focus on reelection that next year?
Right.
It doesn't make sense to me. I think some people do agree, some people disagree. And then also, terming out, right? Now you serve those 3 years, those 3 terms, move on, go to the county level, go to the state level, if you have those kind of ambitions, right?
Right.
I'm planning on staying local, to be completely honest with you. I have my businesses, I have my family. I want to do what's right here locally. So I would be more than happy to even only serve the 3 terms and see where it takes me. But that's one of the things I definitely would like to see. Building the Parks and Rec department, like I said before, that's key in building a community, having more recreation for us to attend, right? With small families, young families. Swan Cove, that has been
such a contentious point.
It's been a hot topic for 10 plus years. I've been hearing about it forever. I think we're on the right path. We were supposed to break ground this year. We ran into some mishaps along the way. Unfortunately, there were some regulations that were changed in January in regards to wetlands. So we have there's a small dredge in the middle of, I don't know if you know where Chamber Park is, and the parking lot. That's considered a wetland now. So it's stopping us from breaking ground. We have to prove that, hey, it's just a small slither of water, you know what I mean? That we could kind of like bypass, hopefully, and break ground and at least put, the 86 parking spaces or 90 parking spaces downtown to support and help those small businesses. Beautifying downtown also, they've been talking about that forever. It's supposed to be a 3-phase project, probably cost upwards of $10 million. That's a lot of money. So, we've got some funds put aside to at least start the parking lot and get the parking lot done. But then Chamber Park needs to be fixed, right? And to kind of match with the parking lot. Then the downtown area, where people park parallel, that's just in Mahopac. We're not even getting into the hamlet. They have beautiful, beautiful buildings that need to be a little bit revitalized, refreshed. There used to be an architectural board as well that used to, make sure that people at least stayed in line with some sort of uniformity, and your storefront had to look a certain way. I would love to see that happen. People
like a standard.
A standard, and they, they always talk about, making it look like Katona. We're not Katona. We're not Bedford. We're Mahopac. We're Carmel. We don't have the money that they have coming in. We have money, but not that money, right? Our taxes are high, but look at your school taxes, right? Don't look at the town tax. Look at the school taxes. Right. So I think that things can be done. It's a matter of, who wants to see that done? Are they willing to work together? And, I'm a driving force. When I want to see something done, I keep going, and we're going to check it off the priority list. So I think 4 of those things are definitely I want to see. Parks and Rec department being built up, beautifying our downtown areas, the Hamlet and Mahopac, term limits for sure, and Parks and Rec department. I'm huge on recreation and bringing the community together. Clearly with my group, you see me doing that. So I would love to see those things kind of being move forward within the 4 years that hopefully I can serve.
So before we conclude this episode, are there any other campaign talking points, even though you basically summarized it, or a final message you would like to convey?
Sorry, I don't want to sound like a broken record.
Anything else? Forever hold your peace.
Forever hold my peace. So again, Mike Lugo, running for town councilman, re-election. I've served the town here for 1 year. I'm looking to serve for the next 4 years. Hopefully I have your vote. Hopefully I have everybody else's vote. I'm here to just do the right thing for everybody, right? Not just some, but for all. My thing is working together, not against one another, right? It's not about me, it's about we. And believe that. I don't care what side you're on, the right, the left, somewhere in between. We're all human beings, and we're all here, and we're living here for a reason. And hopefully everybody can work together and do what's right for the majority of who lives here, right? I got sworn in last December. I'm almost approaching the year. I'm not even working for the town for a year. Hopefully for the next 4 years, I could show you what I'm about, how I move, how I could compromise, how I could work, amongst local elected officials and just do the right thing. That's really what I stand for.
So voting, early voting ends today.
Yes.
General election is November 4th.
Correct.
On Tuesday. What is your website, Facebook, Instagram account that people can read more about you and your campaign?
Website. I don't have a website. I do Facebook, social media, reelect Lugo, Lugo for Carmel. If you ever want to email me as well, I'm quick to respond, or at least try and help out the people that live here. It's Lugo, the number 4, Carmel @gmail.com. Social media. Some people have Instagram, some people don't. Lugo for Carmel. And I could also leave you my number, but I probably won't.
Some people do that.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah. Robert Channel did that, actually.
Did he?
Yeah.
Shout out to Bob Channel. Hopefully we get this W on Tuesday. It's 914-539-0931. You could always text me, call me, leave me a message. I'll do the best I can to get back to you in a timely fashion.
So there you have it, folks. Michael Lugo, Town Councilman of Carmel, reelect, serving and beautifying the community of Carmel. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
If anyone, a business owner or individual, would be interested in sponsoring future episodes, please reach out to us. Also, if you live in Westchester or Putnam County and you would like to come on the show as a guest to discuss any concerns, ideas, or even to promote an upcoming event, we'd love to have you. Thank you for watching the podcast Beyond the Ballot. Like, subscribe, and leave us your comments. Thank you.